Welcome once again to Inside Motors. Every once in a while you get a superb assignment, and today I've just got the one. As a professional mechanic, I really enjoy hand tools. It's how I earn my living. It's how I do the job. Now today we've come down to Sykes-Pickavant in Lytham St and we're going to talk tools. I've got with me Martin O'Day from Sykes-Pick, who's going to talk tools. Thank you very much for coming along and talking to us. Now, what we want to look at is basic toolkits for the home mechanic.
Yeah.
What sort of things would you recommend?
Well, certainly I think every mechanic will need at some point a spanner and a spanner set. Now, the most popular type of spanner set tends to be the combination spanner set. Now we have here quite a nice little range of AF spanner sets, and obviously we do metric sizes as well. Now, this particular range starts at 3/8 and goes up to 11/16, which tends to be the more popular AF sizes. In metric, the similar sort of set would be a 10mm maybe to 19mm set. Combination tends to be more popular than the open-ended and ring key set. Don't know why, it just seems to be whether it's a fashion thing, but ring keys and open-ended seem to be a bit old hat nowadays. And the style of the spanner has changed over the years from the old rigid bed spanner type thing to a more modern chrome, shiny mirror finish.
I must admit, it is absolutely superb. The finish on it is great. The handle is brilliant.
Yeah.
And just from working with these tools, we find that you use that end the most.
Yes.
And then that end just for holding things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously from a safety point of view, if you've got a nut or a bolt that's particularly tight, the more surface area that you've actually got round the nut or the bolt, the better you are, and the less likely you are for it to slip off and take your skin off your knuckles.
Yeah. Just for the people at home, I'd love to say this: you've only got one pair of hands. Always buy quality tools, and if they start wearing, bin them, and I'm afraid you're going to have to buy another one. But it keeps these chaps in business. Right, from the spanners,
Sockets.
We've got some sockets in front of us here. Can you explain a little bit about them?
Sockets tend to come mainly in what they call bi-hex sockets, which are 12-sided sockets. Now we do a small range of these. We do them quarter, 3/8 drive and 1/2-inch drive. These are the quarter drive one, which are particularly useful for radio fitments, or if you're fitting body trims and things. We haven't got a great deal of room, but you need a fair bit of access. So quarter drive for your small usage, and that's quite a nice little range there. You've got from 4 to 13mm in standard, and also 4 to 13 in double depth sockets, which are particularly useful if you've got a nut that's at the end of a large stud.
Again, they're very, very useful. If you've got something like an Astra or something with a bolt-on distributor cap,
yeah,
they're superb for getting those little fiddly bits off.
Under a lot of engines nowadays, there isn't a great deal of room, and under a lot of dashes and vehicles, you haven't got particularly great vast amounts of room. So quarter drive tends to be a very popular set. It's certainly quite a good quarter drive set, and it's a very good place to start, because once you've got quarter drive, you can then build up the next level up from quarter drive, depending on obviously how big and how tight the bolts are, is your 3/8 drive. I just have an example of a 3/8 drive socketry range here. Now this is a bit of a novel ratchet. Again, where access is awkward and you haven't got a great deal of space, this tends to be a standard ratchet shape and size, whereas this just gives you a little bit of flexibility where you just can't quite get at an awkward nut, bolt, or whatever it might be you're trying to undo. The sockets are slightly different as well. The 3/8 drive sockets are what we call surface drive. As you can see, these have 12-sided on them, and these are 6-sided surface drive. The idea of these sockets are that they actually grip the flats of the nuts and bolts. All the power that you exert are actually on the flats of the nuts and bolts, not on the corners. Because what can happen is, obviously, if it's a bit of a dodgy nut or bolt, somebody's had a go at it and tried to fit the wrong spanner or wrong socket on it, you put one of these on, it will still undo it.
And the number of times I've done that, yeah. I mean, everybody must have got a nut that just won't move because it's been sheared and flatted and rounded. Oh, it's horrible.
No, exactly. And these, again, you have AF and metric. This particular set, again, is an AF set. But again, metric tends to be the more popular. metric 3/8 drive from 10 to 19 mil, what we call standard or double deep, are the ones that tend to be the more popular range.
Now, for people who watch the show on quite a regular basis, they'll know that we're actually virtually standard on 3/8 drive now. And one of the lovely design features I like about this range is, believe it or not, that bit there.
That wouldn't be for oily fingers and things.
That would be for oily fingers. When you've cracked the nut, you can grip that and just turn it off or turn it on. That is a superb design feature. I don't know who thought of that, but he wants a medal.
What we tried to come up with this particular range of screwdrivers is actually something a little bit different to the norm. Most screwdrivers, and every man and his dog do screwdrivers, all look the same. So what we try to come up with this is slightly different design, something that the mechanic would feel comfortable with and obviously use and hopefully buy more and more of them. What we came up with is, if you have a look at the front profile of the screwdriver, it looks pretty much like any other screwdriver would do, until you turn it to the side and where you get a slightly fatter profile. Now the idea of this is it's designed to fit your hand. Most screwdrivers are designed probably not to fit your hand, whereas this one actually does. Now the purpose of this is it actually gives you much more power at the end of the screwdriver blade, which is obviously where you need it. Another essential part of the kit is probably a set of pliers. Now any good tool kit wouldn't be complete without the old trusty plier set. Now various types, again, various manufacturers, various shapes, sizes and forms. I think the important thing with any hand tool is if it feels comfortable. If it doesn't feel comfortable, then obviously don't buy it.